Hello, everybody. Tracy, Mrs. JDog Flanagan with you here today. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Tactical Treasures podcast, sponsored by the JDog Foundation. Our podcast gives veterans, mil spouses, active duty members, military family members, and patriotic military supporters a voice in the veteran space to speak about their service, how they're affecting their communities post-service, and they share with me a tactical treasure that has helped them in their journey in their military career, business, or life. Today, I'm so excited to have with me Sarah Ragone, who is a dedicated military spouse and the Associate Director of Corporate Partnerships at Hire Heroes USA. With nearly 2 years at Hire Heroes USA, Sarah brings over 15 years of experience in nonprofit development to her role, where she focuses on building strategic partnerships to support veteran and military spouse employment initiatives. Sarah's commitment to the military community is deeply personal. Her husband, Douglas, recently retired from the United States Air Force after 20 years of service. Together, they live in Maine with their children, 2 cats, and a dog. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to
Hi,
the
Tracy.
podcast.
Thank you so
And
much for having me.
yeah, and thank you so much for your service and your husband's service to our country.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, really excited to get into all the great work you're doing at Hire Heroes. But I would first like to ask military spouse. So, how did you meet your husband? And did you meet him before he started serving or after? How did that all come about?
Yes, so I've actually known my husband since we were 14 years old. He
I love it.
moved to Michigan, and we went to high school together. We were just friends through high school, but where our birthdays are also one day apart. So we always
Oh,
had that
wow.
connection of like wishing each other a happy birthday. So even after we graduated and I went to school and he joined the military, we would always at least chat on our birthday, our kind of joint shared birthday every year. And so sometimes that was a call from when he was deployed, and it was just a quick like happy birthday. We're thinking about each other, but we thankfully, I'm a firm believer that you end up where you're supposed to be and at the right time in
Yeah.
the right place. And so
Mhm.
we connected many years later when we were in our 20s, and thankfully we're both at the right place at the right time and reconnected and started dating and decided to get married and start a family, and the rest is history. So I guess I would say I knew him prior to service, and then when we were married, he was already, I think he'd been serving for maybe 8 years or so when we
Right.
started dating. So yeah, I got before and then during and now retirement. So
Right. Oh, I love it. That is a great story and amazing that your birthdays are one day apart. Oh my gosh, like you guys are truly soulmates meant to be together. I love that.
yes,
That's really awesome. How romantic. So, I would like to ask you, what has military life been for you?
most of the time I look view military life, it's been such a blessing. We have met some of the most incredible people. We have, really gotten to, I think, teach our children what it means to serve and to do something for the greater good, the bigger picture than just yourself. And so really I think military service, looking back now, I think it was such a blessing. While we were in it though, and in the thick of it though, I can say there's definitely challenging parts of it and challenging times. Thankfully, by the time Doug and I started our family, he was done deploying. He had moved into recruiting for the Air Force. And so that's, kind of what he used to say is like a much more like boring desk job compared to what he used to do. But, um,
Right.
it was still moves. It was still him gone, TDY, gone for training. It was missing things. It was missing family. It was not always being home and with our family when we wanted to. And so I think, it was sacrifice on, so, obviously so much on Doug's part, but I think on spouses parts and families parts, it's that element of sacrifice and knowing that, the most important thing that service member who's serving is they're putting themselves not before the mission ever. And so, like I said, such a blessing, but there were absolutely periods of sacrifice and where sometimes it felt like, it was hard some days. It was hard leaving friends, it was hard leaving family, hard starting over in jobs and cities and new houses. And so I would definitely say, as much of a blessing as it was, there were times that were hard.
Yeah, yeah. So my next question, I think you probably already answered it, but I'll give you the chance to add on to it if you'd like to. My next question was, knowing the challenges of, military life as a mill spouse is difficult, and there are challenges. And I was going to ask you, what are the positives? If you have any more nuggets to share, I'd love to hear.
I would just say too, like I said, I guess adding and kind of building on what I said is I just have such a sense of pride for what my husband, all the veterans and military spouses that I get to work with every day. I have such a sense of pride to be part of that community, because it is a small percentage of people that are part of that community. And so
True.
I think about when people sometimes complain about our country, and I feel such a sense of pride to be an American and to be part of this beautiful country and to have a husband that served to protect all of our freedoms and liberties. And I think that's one of the biggest positives that I take away and that we work to instill into our children is that sense of pride for, like I said, being part of something bigger than just yourself and putting the importance of the safety of our country ahead of prerogatives sometimes, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, huge sacrifice for the entire family. I like what you said about teaching our children because they're the next generation. And, unfortunately, I think in this day and age, pride in country is not something that's always taught in school. And so much has gone by the wayside. And the fact that you're still able to incorporate that into home life and have, your children, which is going to be the next generation, to really understand what it is for our country to have men and women willing to put themselves in harm's way to protect our freedoms, and that service is something to be recognized and held at such high esteem,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
so I think that's great. So I love what you're doing now. So you are now the assistant director of corporate partnerships at Hire Heroes. So you've been there for 2 years, but what I guess we probably need to go back a little bit. How did you get there?
Yes. So I graduated from college, and I feel like I feel like the story won't be unusual. I had no clue what I wanted to do. I had this degree, I had mountains of student debt, and I had no clue what I wanted to do. And so I kind of fumbled into nonprofit work. I knew that I had to kind of look at like what are my soft skills that I bring to the table. And I think
Right.
forming relationships and people skills has always kind of been just something I enjoy doing and I love doing. I also graduated in 2006, so like right on the cusp of like the economic, disaster of
Yeah.
2006, 2007. So not a lot of
Yeah.
people hiring, it wasn't a great time to be looking for a job, but I started my career with Leukemia Lymphoma Society in development and fundraising, and I just loved it. I thankfully had a boss and coworkers who were so inspiring and so motivated, and I learned so much that I was hooked. I knew that like nonprofit was going to be my future. I was probably not going to retire at 40 with, a nonprofit salary, but I just loved the work I was doing. I loved the people I got to work with.
Mm.
And so I just from there moved to several other nonprofits. Always doing fundraising and development and relationship building. And when I saw the position open up with Hire Heroes USA, it was like a beacon of light shining down. Like this is
Sure. Yeah.
I couldn't truly dream up a better position for myself personally, that I got to marry my love of nonprofit work, feeling like you're making a difference. And then, my personal life of just having such a passion for supporting military veterans and spouses. So it was truly, when I got this job, it was just like the greatest day on the planet. I was so excited to be part of this organization.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. Talk about a match made in heaven,
Yes.
right? That's really great. So, I guess talk to us a little bit about Hire Heroes USA. What is the organization kind of all about, and how do they help veterans and mil spouse? You guys are definitely in the employment
Yes.
sector. So, talk to me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So, yes, you hit the nail on the head. We help transitioning service members, veterans, and military spouses on their path and securing meaningful and fulfilling employment in the civilian sector. And so that journey and path really looks different for we lovingly refer to as our clients. So those are, the people we serve who are veterans and military spouses. That journey can look really different. And so what we do, I think makes us unique and sets us apart is we offer one-on-one personalized support. We have transition specialists on our team, and they work with those veterans and military spouses on wherever they're at on that journey, providing them resources, information, support. And so that could look like, I can use my husband as an example. He won't mind. I do all the time. But, after 20 years in the military, he had never had to do a job interview. He didn't really
Oh,
know how to
right.
put a
Yeah.
resume together without using a lot of military jargon and acronyms that would make no sense in the civilian sector. And so our transition specialists help take all of those incredible skills and experience that these veterans and military spouses have and get them on a resume that's going to stand out to civilian hiring, to the companies that they want to work for. It's going to make sense. It's going to be appealing to them. We have mentors that help mentor veterans and spouses to, if there's a field they want to go into. We have tons of volunteers in the organization. We help get their LinkedIn profile looking good. We can do mock interviews if they need it. So anything that's in that, I need a job, help me get this job, we work with them on in a really personalized approach. And so then on my side of the house, on the corporate partner side of the house, we get to work with companies and organizations who want to hire veterans and military spouses. So they have positions open and they want to actively engage our clients in getting them in those jobs and those positions. And so we really try to, have a very holistic approach that we're not only working with veterans and spouses who need jobs, we're working with companies who have jobs and want veterans and spouses in their workplace because they recognize that they're such an asset.
Right. Oh, that's great. So, it's is the assistance that you offer to the veterans and the military spouses, I'm assuming it's free for them?
Absolutely free. And we
Okay.
like to say that once, you can there this is not a one-shot deal. So you don't get to come work with us once and we say, "No, sorry, we've already helped you." Veterans and spouses can come back and work with us for as long or as many times as they need to or want to. If they're looking to have a career change later on down the line and they think, "My resume could use some revamping," come back. Transition specialists are there to support. It also doesn't matter how long a veteran served, if it was 4 years, if it was 20 years, it doesn't matter how long they've been out. And if for spouses, it doesn't matter even if you're separated from, your spouse that was in the military, we still want to help with that journey. And so, yeah, we are partners for lifetime with our veterans and
Hello,
spouses.
viewers and listeners. Are you a military veteran or military family member and looking to own your own business? If so, go to jdog.com and check out our two veteran focused franchises, JDog Junk Removal and Hauling and JDog Carpet Cleaning and Floor Care. Our franchisees nationwide are always looking to hire fellow veterans and patriots. JDog is the world's largest military franchise system with hundreds of locations nationwide. We are nearly 90% veteran owned with the goal of reducing the veteran unemployment rate to under 1%. Check us out. Go to jdog.com to learn more. Now, back to the podcast. Oh, that's great. So what about your corporate partnerships? If a company chooses to partner with you, is there a fee, or do they donate, or how
Little
does
bit,
that
yes.
work?
Yep, little bit of both, Tracy. So we are a 501(c) nonprofit, and so we are so thankful for our corporate partners because they are the ones truly, between our donors, our grants, and our corporate partners, they are who allow us to run our organization in a way that we don't ever charge clients for any of the services that we're providing. And so, yes, there is a fee associated with some of our services that we offer. We have a really great job board that jobs can be posted on. We host virtual career fairs. We offer employer training. If a company they want to hire veterans, but they need some help on how to get themselves veteran ready and how to make their positions that they're posting attractive to veterans and spouses. And so we do have a fee attached to those services that we provide. And
Mhm.
then we also have incredible corporate partners that just give philanthropically to us, they through their CSR initiatives. And we're always so thankful for all of those partnerships that, like I said, want to hire veterans and military spouses, want to support that community, and are willing to help us financially, to run our organization.
Right, right. So, and this is really great. I mean, I feel like because, we here at JDog, we're military company,
Yeah.
franchise system. So we encourage our franchise owners who were probably close to 90% veteran owned.
Amazing.
The other percentage is, intermediate military family members. So we encourage, obviously, the hiring of veterans. But I have to say, me being part of what I do here at JDog is to help get those resources to our JDog franchise owners. So we're always looking for resources. How do they hire veterans? So if our JDog franchise owner came to hire heroes, the best thing to do would maybe be just going to the job board and posting a job and
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one of the I know time is so precious, and people hate to add another meeting to their day, but we really
right.
have an incredible staff on my team. We have our business development team. And so really they spend a lot of their time having conversations with partners and really figuring out, okay, like what type of positions are you trying to hire for? Is it specific to a geographic location? Do you need a specific skill set? We have some companies, they require specific security clearance. And so our team really works with those companies and figures out what are you hiring for, what are your initiatives, what are your goals, and kind of helps best match them to what might make the most sense. Is it posting on the job board? Is it sending a targeted email where we can send emails to only our clients that meet that criteria? So if it's only clients in the state of Michigan, and they have to live within this geographical area, they have to have this level of education, whatever it looks like, we can really target those specific clients and make sure that they're finding out about the great opportunities that you might have open.
That's great.
Yeah.
So does it cater to both like white collar and blue collar workers? And I say that because our franchise owners, it's a junk removal business. So it definitely is a physical labor type of job that a lot of our J Dogs are hiring for. So um,
Absolutely. We have such a wide range and such a plethora of positions and companies that we work for or work with. So if you visited the job board, you would see everything. You'd see a little bit of everything, all the way up from C-suite down to, like you mentioned, more blue collar, more manual physical labor. We work with a lot of different companies, a lot of different organizations that are hiring for just a really wide variety of positions.
Oh wow, that's great. That's great to
Yes.
know. So this is awesome. Such good information
Oh,
here.
thank you.
Although our podcast is called Tactical Treasures. So now I, we come to the time where Sarah, I need to ask you, what is your tactical treasure and
Okay,
what
well,
would you
Tracy,
like to share?
you're going to have to forgive me because we are in the middle of a move. This will hopefully be our last move ever.
Oh my
Of course,
gosh.
I could not. Of course, I was like digging around, but if I could just share a story about my tactical treasure with you.
That's fine. Yes. Your
So,
tactical treasure doesn't have to be physical. It could be
oh,
a story or whatever. So,
well, wonderful. Well, I'm gonna the plight of a military spouse here, and I'm gonna say I work with such a large group. Sometimes it's a little bit of a thankless job, it feels like. And I don't want to say thankless, but I think it's veterans, military spouses. I think it probably feels like that across the board. But a few years ago, my husband submitted me for an award for spouse of the year. It was during COVID times, and I had worked in our community to put together Easter baskets for kids that might not otherwise do anything to celebrate Easter. We lived
mhm.
in kind of an economically challenged community, and so my husband submitted me for this award, and it was not the fact that I won, which was such an honor, but it was the fact that my husband saw that on top of raising kids and working, and it was that recognition of the military spouse, that he saw me, he saw what I was doing, what I sacrificed, what I brought to the family. And it was just such an honor to, like I said, I'm always so proud of him, and will brag about him any chance I get, but to have that reciprocated and to have that recognized, that yes, being a spouse comes with its own set of challenges, and to have that
Mhm.
recognized by not only my husband, but then his peers, was such an honor, and something I just maintain. It's usually sitting in my office. It's something I'm so proud of. Sounds so cheesy, but it's something that I'm really proud of, and something that I just work as I continue to work with the military community, and especially the spouse community, just recognizing that spouses are out there killing it every day. They're flexible and dependable, and they're keeping everything running at home. So my tactical treasure is for all the military spouses out there. Like, take a second today, give yourself a pat on the back, go get a hot coffee, take a long shower, do something kind for yourself because I know that it can be at times a challenging and thankless job, and you are seen and heard and loved and appreciated. And so, to all my tactical treasure is to all the spouses, thank you for what you do because it wouldn't be possible for your spouse to serve without you taking care of everything at home. So,
I love that.
thank you.
That is a very, very special tactical treasure.
Thank you
And I
so much.
love that. And you did put in your bio that you won a Spouse of the Year award. So were you a base winner, or
I was
was it Military Spouse of the Year? Or,
it was just for his squadron. So it was
oh,
not
okay.
it was not like, my gosh, it is not, like I said, it's not something that I would, like, get on a t-shirt and brag about or anything, but still such an honor. But it
Yes.
was but yeah, such an honor and something, like I said, I'm appreciative of my husband for seeing that.
That's very special. And I think, military spouses are probably always bragging about their service member and the wonderful things that they're doing. And you're right, how special to have that reciprocated, and that he values what you bring, not only to the spouse community, but to the family and your sacrifice as well. So I think that that is really, really special.
Thank you,
Thank you
Tracy.
for
Thank you so much.
sharing that. That's
Absolutely.
really awesome. So, my next question: advice for your fellow mill spouses. You already kind of said it in your tactical treasure: be kind to yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. But is there any other little nuggets of that you would share of how to navigate the military life?
I would say, and this is something I was not always great at, so it's funny that I'm giving this advice, but I feel like it's always like hindsight is 2020. But
Yeah.
I would just say lean on your community. We lived off base quite often, and so we didn't necessarily have that, living on base community. But I leaned so heavily on the friends, fellow spouses. I really leaned on them as my community and my people because they understood that journey. They understood what was
Mhm.
going on. It made it feel much less kind of like I was alone in this. And so I would just, if I could give any advice, I would say lean on your community. There's some incredible, like, social media groups for, specific branch spouses and stuff. So lean, if you don't have a community in person, find that community. Find your people, find your circle, because I do think that that makes it so much easier. And just having someone to relate, someone to talk to, someone that kind of gets the journey that you're on, I think really makes it, like I said, just not feel so like you're in it alone sometimes. And so
Yeah.
that would be my best and biggest piece of advice, is find your people and lean on them.
Yeah, that's great advice. I recently had on a male mill spouse who was the AFI 2024 Military Spouse of the Year base winner for
Oh,
Fort Leavenworth. Vince of Fison.
that's
Um,
amazing.
he was just on, and he his big kind of preaching on the was all about spouses clubs, and how important they have been to him, and especially with him only being like 9% of
Yes.
the mill spouse
Yes.
community, right? So he just talked about how important that was, and that made all the difference for him, to be able to just get out there and get involved in that spouse club, and be able to have that camaraderie within that
Absolutely.
club. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great advice. I love it. So, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for spending time and sharing all that you did, Sarah. It's really been wonderful talking to you. But before you go, can you tell us where people can find and connect with you?
Yes.
Especially companies that are interested in being part of your corporate partnership group. And where can they find out more information about, especially veterans and mill spouses? Like, how would they connect with Hire Heroes USA and kind of say, hey, I need help, how do they get involved with the programs that you offer there?
Absolutely. So the best and easiest way I would say to be is to check out our website. It is hireheroesusa.org. And that would be, I would give that advice for companies that might want more information, as well as if there are veterans or military spouses out there that this is resonating with and they think like I could use these services. I would send everybody first to the website. There is a form for companies to fill out if they would like more information to connect with. There's also a form for veterans and military spouses to fill out if they would like more information, and for a transition specialist to reach out to them. So, website is the best and easiest way. It's a, you can do all best and easiest way for everybody for more information, whether it's companies or clients. That's where I would direct everybody. We also have a really great presence on social media, so Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. If people out there are social mediaers, then check us out on social media, because we have some really great platforms, or some pages on all of those platforms as well.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Okay, definitely. Well, we will certainly get the word out about Hire Heroes USA.
Thank you.
So, Sarah, thank you for your time today. This has been amazing.
Oh, Tracy, thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure to get to speak with you and to be a guest on your wonderful podcast. So thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. We'll talk again soon. Hello, viewers and listeners. We've just finished up an amazing conversation with Sarah Ragone, who is an Air Force milspouse and the Associate Director of Corporate Partnerships at Hire Heroes USA, whose mission is to empower U.S. military members, veterans, and milspouses to succeed in the civilian workforce. Each year, over 200,000 service members leave the military. 80% of them will not have a civilian job lined up following their transition. Every week, Hire Heroes USA registers over 800 U.S. military members, veterans, and MILF spouses, yet nearly 300 remain on the waiting list due to limited resources. Hire Heroes USA addresses employment skills, which is the number one request from transitioning veterans. They do this through a customized one-on-one approach with expert transition specialists with personal connections to the military and business communities. Hire Heroes USA understands that the military identity is intersectional, and to better serve their candidates, they created programs unique to their backgrounds and challenges. These programs include junior enlisted, women veterans, and serving spouses. On average, they work with candidates for 12 to 16 weeks, from helped to hired. There are many ways to get involved with Hire Heroes USA by either volunteering, hosting a fundraising event, corporate philanthropy, and hiring veterans and military spouses. For more information, please visit hireheroesusa.org. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Tactical Treasures. And don't forget, you can find us on all your favorite podcast streaming platforms, as well as Vet TV, American Grit, and our dedicated YouTube channel. We are now airing on Reach Across America Radio on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can also find Reach Across America Radio on the iHeartRadio app, the Odyssey app, and the TuneIn app. We are also proud to share that our JDog Foundation is a Reach Across America sponsorship group. For each $17 veterans wreath that you sponsor, $5 goes directly back to the JDog Foundation, whose mission is to prevent veteran suicide and heal veterans' mental health and PTSD. You can donate right now at reachacrossamerica.org/JDog. Again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on another podcast real soon. Bye-bye now.